Welcome to another episode of Rainbow Popcorn. We are 2 out of 3 brothers watching movies through a rainbow lens. How are you, Brett?
I am well, Lee. How are you?
I'm good. Wearing my old movie t-shirt because we're
As am
watching
I.
another old movie. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? A movie where they say the title in the movie.
Yay! I almost say it several times.
Well, at one point she says, guess who's coming to dinner now?
Yes, that's the sequel. That's when the...
Look who's talking now, John Travolta and Sandra Bullock.
And that's when the dog talks?
Is it Sandra Bullock?
Kirstie Alley.
Oh,
Wow.
close.
Where was that in my head?
Can we have a drink?
Oh, we do.
We have a Moondog cider, which we have tried quite a while ago, but I thought I'll give another one a go. Moondog Fizzer,
I still haven't been there.
apple cider, tropical. Oh, I can't do a show of it because of our lighting. Yeah. Still haven't been to the Moondog.
I still haven't. I almost went there on the weekend or a recent weekend, whatever week this is, because I went to
This weekend,
Pride
Day party.
Day party, afternoon delight. Ooh, there we go. Speaking of an afternoon delight,
Mine did that a bit. Oh, we have to remember this happened last time.
that's why I didn't go to Moondog because it spilt me. No,
It's called a fizzer.
and I was like, because that finished at 8. I said, well, maybe we should go to Moondog, but instead we went to a strange woman's house that we only met that day.
Some good parties in that though.
Very good party. Then we tried to go back to Pride later, but they said we were too drunk. And I almost did do you know who I am? But I didn't.
That's probably a good idea.
But then we were fine. I said, we probably don't need to spend any more money. Went home and spent $50 on Macca's.
Yeah, but that's an investment in the next day.
And do you know Macca's have chicken wings now? They're actually pretty good.
McWings.
They're pretty good. I had 1 that night and 2 the next morning.
According to their ad, they're the best chicken or something. They're like a new era of chicken.
Great. Do you know what was a new era of movies? It was the 1960s that really changed movie making.
Interracial marriage movies. Is that a new genre of movie?
It was the first time parents met in a movie. It wasn't. Don't quote me on that.
It
but
is.
Yes, we are doing Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, the seminal classic. Never used that sentence before, but there you go.
Well, it's accurate in terms of meeting your interracial marriage parents. It is the seminal movie for that.
Especially when it was only just legal or still illegal.
Still illegal in 16 or 17 states, according to Spencer Tracy and Wikipedia.
Yes. So there you go. It must be true because
Yep.
not because of
Spencer Tracy.
Tracy.
So there, yes, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? Spencer Tracy, Catherine Hepburn, Sidney Poitier, and Hoff.
Who's her niece? That's Catherine Hepburn's niece.
Oh, really?
Horton.
That's it.
He's a who. And then some other people.
Yeah, but really it's those 4
Yeah.
that the movie is all about. I hadn't seen it before this,
Here you go.
but I knew that it was very good. I knew Sidney Poitier was very good because we have watched on Two Drinks Cinema the one where he's a teacher, To Serve With Love, that is not a Bond movie. And,
Those schoolgirl days. Sorry.
well, this one has a song too.
Do you know this is the second movie that we've watched featuring this song?
Really?
Yeah.
What else is it in?
Beaches.
Oh, Wind Beneath My Wings.
Yeah, so they sing Wind Beneath My Wings in the credits. No, Glory of Love. Remember she sings it?
At the opening of the Sydney Myer Music Bowl?
No,
the Hollywood
she
Bowl.
sings on the boardwalk. Okay, Brett. I actually on the weekend was trying to convince my friend that I'm not autistic. He did not believe me.
We are watching.
Definitely 52 matchsticks on your floor, by the way.
Thank God people can't see what's just out of the shot in this studio.
I know, the GIMP. Okay, where are we going? So speaking of GIMPs,
All right.
1967, they didn't have GIMPs then.
1967 they did, but it was an era of kink shaming.
Yep.
So people didn't admit if they had a GIMP. But what they also didn't have were coloured people in their house that weren't employed by them.
Can you say that?
I don't think I can say that. As soon as I said it, I was like, no, I shouldn't be saying that, even though they did say it in the film.
Yeah, but they used the
language of the time.
Yeah,
apologies. I don't want to have to go to sensitivity training put on by
for our workplace,
our HR department, which is probably you.
Let's be honest. Don't care. So let's move on.
Okay.
So, like you said, very good movie.
Very
Seminal
good movie.
classic, some might say. I've heard somebody say that
and
recently.
An iconic on-screen duo in Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy.
Their 9th movie together.
And their last.
And their last, because he died 17 days after filming.
What else can you tell us about, like, the...
Is there an or button?
Oh, there's a...
No, don't press the wrong one.
Don't want to do the womp womp.
Womp womp. Sorry, Spence.
He's been dead for 80 years.
Name an award it won
60 years.
It was nominated for 6 Golden Globes.
Right.
For Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actress for Sydney's Mum, and Best Screenplay.
Okay.
BAFTA, it won for Best Actor and Best Actress, and something called a UN award, which I don't think exists. And it was nominated for Best Screenplay.
As in the UN?
United Nations.
They give awards. They give awards for all sorts of things.
Well, I think they had at one stage maybe a BAFTA award that the UN gave out that was like, yay, peace.
But they also do give, like, awards to people and things that...
The BAFTAs?
No, the UN.
Oh, yeah, like
so
the Nobel Peace Prize.
No, that's the Nobel Foundation. The guy that made all the bombs.
Yeah.
Then I feel really guilty about making the bombs, so I'm going to give people medals for doing peaceful shit and writing poetry.
So you know that I'm something good, not blowing shit up.
Alfred Nobel, bomb maker.
Yeah.
He didn't give any awards to Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
Well, maybe he should blow himself up. No, okay, that was weird. Oscar-wise, it also won some awards. So it won for Best Actress for Katharine Hepburn for her second of 4 wins.
She's very good.
And Best Original Screenplay. It was also nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, Best Art Direction, Best Editing, and Best Music Original Score.
Was the Best Actor Spencer or Sydney?
The Best Actor was Spencer.
Oh.
Was he nominated for something else that year, Sidney Poitier? Nope. So, no, he made...
see you going through your file in your head. Because I would put... I know it's Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy, but this is probably a case where...
Yes, he was.
Sidney Poitier, I don't think, is a supporting actor in this movie.
Well, he wasn't nominated for that either.
No, but...
The supporting actor... Well, there's 3 leads.
It kind of leaves him a little bit out of it. Because they don't often nominate 2 people from the one movie for the one category, right? And so if you look at him and you go, well, he's not supporting actor, but we can only really nominate one lead actor in a leading role, and so it's going to be Spencer Tracy because now he's dead.
Yep.
So, but Sidney Poitier was very good.
He was very good. So the nominees that year... Can I have the envelope, please?
In a leading role?
Actors in a leading role. The nominees were Warren Beatty in Bonnie and Clyde.
Okay.
Dustin Hoffman in The Graduate. Paul Newman in Cool Hand Luke.
Yep.
Spencer Tracy in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and was won by Rod Steiger in The Heat of the Night, which also stars Sidney Poitier in a kind of leading role.
Oh,
so he kind of got snubbed twice.
Shortchanged. I'm going to say shortchanged. I'm not going to say snubbed because you don't like that.
No.
What about in supporting actor? Actor in a supporting role.
John Cassavetes, The Dirty Dozen. Gene Hackman, from Superman.
Yes.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Superman 3.
Cecil Kellaway, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, is the priest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Michael J. Pollard, Bonnie and Clyde. George Kennedy won for Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah. Sydney got shortchanged. in
Yep.
the nominations.
Yep.
So that's the awards. You've mentioned that it was Spencer Tracy's last movie.
It was his last movie, so his award nomination was posthumous.
He did do well because he was also quite sick during the making of the film.
I did read that. That they just shot him in the morning, did his bits, his scenes, and then went back to sleep.
Yep, he did very well.
You can do that when you're Spencer Tracy.
Yeah. It's very interesting, both as a race film and as a meeting the parents film. It has the trope of probably should have told them about him before they came. And even Sidney Poitier says that in The Taxi.
He's level-headed. She's a menace.
Yeah.
It
He
also
even
has the
says-
trope of don't even tell them you're coming.
Yeah. He even says, I feel like we should have told them at least you were coming.
Yeah.
Because then there's all the thing of like, there's Dr. Prentice at the house. And they're like, there's a doctor.
Well,
Joey
that's-
must be dead.
Yeah. What's wrong with Katharine Hepburn? Why is there a doctor here?
Or what's wrong with Joey? Because Joey's back and there's a doctor.
And there's a doctor. True.
So has Joey come back and brought a doctor from Hawaii because she got that sick in Hawaii that she needed to bring a doctor with her on the plane?
Maybe.
Lovesick.
Lovesick.
She was lovesick, which also meant she was mad. It also has the trope of people falling in love very quickly,
10 days.
which we didn't discuss in our previous episode, but 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
And then I like the line where Katharine Hepburn said, oh, it took me all of 20 years.
Like
fall in
nothing
love with
quite
your
as
father.
long as 20 minutes. There was some very good lines. And so I had seen it before. I remembered that he was of a different colour and a doctor.
Yep.
I couldn't really remember that they also did I don't want to say the flip, but the other side of the story of his parents aren't fine with it either. Sidney Poitier's parents aren't fine with it either.
Yeah, well, there's the thing of them being surprised and shocked
Yeah.
that he is intending to marry a girl that is not African-American,
And 14 years younger.
but his dad says that's a good age gap.
That's concerning to me.
He's like, oh, because women age quicker than men,
Yeah.
which is men die sooner, but women apparently mature sooner.
But
But
so
then there's
I did like
also-
that there was that on it as well.
Yeah, and it's a shock. It's not as much a race thing, but it's oh my God, this woman is not only not African American, but you only have known her 10 days.
Yep.
And you are intending to marry, and she's younger, and we're not sure her parents approve.
And you go into fucking Geneva.
Well, they put on a good convention, I've heard.
Quite famously, they do put on a good convention. Sorry, I was
Yeah.
going to try add to it, but I don't know enough about the Jiva connection.
Isn't that a Gene Hackman movie? The French Connection.
Isn't Geneva in Switzerland?
Geneva is in Switzerland, which is next to France.
But what language do they speak famously?
Swiss.
I don't know why I'm saying famously.
They speak Swiss and German and French and Swiss French and Swiss German.
God, their languages, I don't know,
And
like a
English.
Swiss Army knife.
They can just pull whatever language out
Just
whenever
go,
they need it.
"Wah-ha,
When
Achtung."
Roger Federer wins the French Open, he just speaks in French.
Yeah.
When he wins the Australian Open, he just speaks in English.
When he wins the Berlin Open.
He just speaks in Swiss German.
Yes, anyway. Speaking of Roger Federer.
The race thing is interesting. So you said that he was a doctor and they deliberately wrote the film so that he was perfect other than not being white.
Yep.
And the
them.
writers didn't want to have anything that the parents could disapprove of in his personality or his life or his achievements
Yep.
other than the race thing. And I think they certainly did that well. And there's the thing when Spencer Tracy rings his mate and says, go to the library and check up on this guy.
Look at the microfiche. Yep.
And reels off all these lists of aid in Africa, magna cum laude at Johns Hopkins, which is the medical university in the States.
Yep.
And Katharine Hepburn has this little smile of, I knew he was fucking good.
Yeah. Right.
Now we're going to see what you really got your problem about.
Yeah. The bit I found interesting was either just before or after that. I think before. When Sidney Poitier goes into them in the study and is like, hey, if you're not happy with it, I'm not going to do it. And I was like, how romantic.
I liked that. It served two purposes story-wise. It was to make Spencer Tracy's character feel like he was being backed into a corner.
Yep.
But it also showed a bit of his honour.
Uh-huh.
And him being like, I'm not just doing this to try and marry into a white family, or I'm not taking advantage of this because she's younger.
That's what Tilly thought.
I'm doing this for the right reasons, but if you think it's not going to work, then I'll just step away. I'm not going to fight you on this.
Yeah.
Is in there as well. And then the race thing kind of from there took an interesting turn at not being, we don't approve of African American people. It's, I'm concerned about what other people are going to think.
Yeah.
Which is a very big part of racism and acceptance.
Yes. Well, I think this movie is very timely when it was made 60 years ago because it was so topical at the time. And so like this was happening in the moment.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like it's very well done.
And it was one of a few movies around that time that showed interracial relationships in a positive way.
Yes.
There was a lot that brought up like front and center the issues. Like this talks about the issues, but it's not like part of the story, the issues that they're facing.
Yep.
And obviously the ending is a good ending.
What's for dinner?
Well, not what's for dinner. Tilly, how about we get some bloody food?
Yeah. What have you been waiting for? My speech to end? I just summarized everything that happened in the movie.
But also, like, I'm very accepting of anything that anyone from any race wants to do. Hey, servant, dinner time.
Yes.
And also the
That was a bit
daughter,
odd.
Joey, the whole way through is like, from the start, she's like, I love you, Tilly. Why am I allowed to love you and not him? But then she just walks into the kitchen and goes,
8 sandwiches, please.
if they can't deliver the steaks, get them to bring them in a taxi. Make more pie.
Yeah, I have to say, not a fan of Joey.
Full on.
Also, like, Joey, stop inviting people to dinner.
Well, Katharine Hepburn invited the priest.
She invited 2 people that happened to have enough money to then just fly a drop of a hat.
I don't think
So this is probably $20 back in the day.
Yeah, but $20 was a lot because he gave that
True.
guy in the random ice cream parking lot $50 to buy a new car.
Well, it was $12 for their taxi, and he waited at the
Yeah, gallery.
racist gallery for like 5 minutes.
But it was $2.20 for a phone call.
I liked that. That was funny.
So things are all over the place.
I don't get the economy.
That's a separate
I don't get it
topic.
now. I don't get it. I didn't get it in the 60s.
Very separate topic.
Look, Katharine Hepburn's the greatest actress ever. Sorry, Streepers. I've just made that a name for Meryl Streep lovers.
Streepers.
Sounds too much like strippers.
No, Streepers.
Exotic dancers.
Meryl heads?
Meryl heads. Like metal heads.
Yeah, Meryl heads.
Heavy Meryls.
Heavy Merrills. Merrill fans.
Whoops. Streepers.
Streepers. I think you're right. I had a look at your notes and the line where you said Hepburn just makes it look so easy.
That was before her best bit too.
It was so natural.
She just, and you can tell that obviously they've worked together a lot.
Yeah.
Both on and off screen. Wink, wink. That when they're in the study bantering, it's just very natural. And the way that she was just saying stuff just like, well, that 220s for a phone call, I guess he doesn't want to be stingy on that. Or whatever she says. It's just like, that's just a real human having a conversation.
But the bit kind of before that when she first meets John and Joey is explaining it, the holding back of her actual emotions.
Yes.
She's not only holding them back, like it's don't show that you're angry, but it's not just don't look angry.
Yeah.
Like other actors are like, they just don't look angry. And we know by other context clues that they're holding back their anger or disappointment or concern. But Katharine Hepburn looks like she is holding back actual genuine anger, worry, and concern.
I feel like for 87 minutes of this 93-minute movie or however long it went for, she was almost about to cry the whole time.
A single tear just waiting for 3/4 of her screen time. And she did it so well, but then just as easily showed how much she loves the priest.
Yeah.
And she was like adult, affectionate friendship with the priest, then went to loving mother, swept up, as Spencer Tracy said, swept up in the excitement of her daughter being in love. And then she went to wife telling off her husband, and she did it all.
I think she's amazing. I don't really know what else can be said.
Well, she got the statue.
My favourite bit of maybe the whole movie was when she gets her racist co-worker.
When she fires Hillary
and
the
she
bitch.
goes out to the thing.
Yep.
And she has this monologue, which is amazing. And she just goes, why don't you go get your stuff and get permanently lost?
Yeah, yeah.
And then she comes back in and you're like, whoa, that's so good. And then the daughter's like, sorry, she was being a bitch. And then I'm like, that's the best thing you've said. That's the smartest thing you've done this whole movie, Joey. Hillary was being a bitch.
She was being a bitch. But what I liked about Katharine Hepburn's monologue to that bitch Hillary was the whole monologue, but then also when she was just like, okay, I would like you now to go back to start the engine. Yeah. I would like you to go back to the gallery. And then take out the checkbook.
Here's a check. Write it for cash.
Write it for cash.
$5,000. I think you deserve that. And fuck off.
And then very carefully get permanently lost.
Get permanently lost. You know what? That is now in my vocabulary.
Take that into our newly formed HR department.
So I'm going to, instead of saying fuck all the way off, like, I'm watching something off, get fucked. Yeah. Fuck all the way off.
Yep.
I'm going to say get permanently lost.
Permanently lost.
Now I really want to fire someone so I can say that.
I hope nobody from your day job is listening.
Anyway.
You can fire our GIMP.
And I can do a monologue because he won't be able to say anything. He won't
be able to say. And Hillary was so struck by Chris's monologue. Chris's monologue that she couldn't say anything. Christina, isn't it?
Christina. The other bit
gender neutral names. Joey, Chris,
John,
not John,
Tilly,
Matt. No, but two.
The
women have gender neutral names.
The other bit that it did well that I don't recall was the bit where they go out to get ice cream. That's not why they went out, but they went out and they got ice cream.
I feel like the ice cream is an allegory.
It was a way of showing how the world is changing around them.
Yes, but to go another layer, right? This is what I think I ordered last time, but it's not, but I like it anyway. Meaning
Subtlety.
a person of colour is not who I expected my daughter to bring home.
But he's all right.
Kind of like the guy.
Yeah.
Not as much as an Oregon boysenberry.
Oh, and they don't have black people in Oregon. That's why.
You don't know that.
I've never been. The only thing I know about Oregon is that Gina Davis played baseball there in the 40s.
And then he backs into
There's a trail. Yeah. Anyway.
the guy driving the car who has a tirade. It's also to show that Spencer Tracy, because he's so worried about Joey and the marriage and stuff, is not concentrating.
And then I didn't think I really liked, after that guy was having a go saying, old fart, get off the road, I didn't really like the round of applause that the ice cream shop patrons gave that man.
I don't think it was worthy of an applause abusing an old man.
Yeah.
Because he paid. Like, it's not like it was a hit and run.
These days, that's ageism. Yeah, he didn't hit and run. He said, I'm sorry, it was an accident. Here's money.
It's my
The only
fault.
reason he ran is because you were yelling at him.
And he was frustrated.
I have to say this as well. I drove to work today because there's no trains. That's not the point of the story. I was driving on Dynon Road, which is quite a busy road, especially at 8:30 in the morning.
When there's no trains.
There was a car in front of me that was just, bit of a traffic, there's a lot of traffic. But the car in front of me was inching closer to this van in front.
Yep.
Wasn't like, didn't hit it, but was getting quite close. So in peak hour traffic, the man in the van got out of his van and comes and goes, like points and it's like you're about to hit me, back off. And then in the meantime, then he gets back in his car. The light has gone green.
Oh.
Then he goes through the green. Then the car behind him, it was orange, so went through. And then I'm like, I just missed that light because he had to get out and mansplain distance to someone.
Because it would have been beeping on his aftermarket self-installed reversing camera.
Yeah, I think he bought it at Levo Market. Anyway, that was...
Probably bought the van at
I had
Levo
to rant
Market
about that because I was like, something going weird on the streets today.
Well, that was when we were driving on Kingsway the other day and that Jeep was like, in this lane, oh no, in this lane, oh no, in this lane.
And then somehow got in front of us.
Oh, in this lane, and then ended up in front of us and also almost cut me off on bloody Queen's Road.
Anyway,
I didn't back into anyone in an ice cream shop parking lot.
No, I've never done that either.
I think they should bring drive-in little restaurants like that back.
They have them.
Not drive-throughs.
Oh, like diner parking.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because she had a like cup and saucer black coffee and he had an ice cream sundae in a glass.
Was she on roller skates?
No.
It's disappointing. That was a bit more 50s.
Was a bit 50s.
Those 50s shops were very big in the 80s. Family Guy quote.
All right.
I actually think Joey annoyed the shit out of me, but she got her point across in the end. I didn't really like the summarizing monologue speech at the end.
Yeah,
he does it very well and makes his points, but I don't think we needed the 10 minutes of recapping the story before he got to his point.
Like a mystery movie, not everybody in the room knew all the bits of the story.
Oh, he did have to do his Hercule Poirot or Murder on the Orient Express, summing up what happened.
He did kind of need to, because Joey didn't know that John said, if you object, we're not doing it.
He kind of threw him under the bus there, didn't he?
Not everybody knew that the Monsignor had come up and challenged him to a wrestling match after saying platitudes at him.
Yeah.
So he needed to be like, listen, I know you're about to have an interracial marriage that is going to be hard in your life.
Yeah.
But I've got a fucking hard life too.
I'm an old white man.
I'm an old white man. And as generations of old white men have done, it's fucking hard for me as well.
This race probably was about me.
Yeah.
Old white men. Problems with the world today are created by and about old white men.
I just need everybody to know how this is affecting me. And so I'm going to tell you a story.
Yeah.
And he did it. And at the end, he turned to his black servant and said, cook me some fucking steak.
Where's my slippers, woman? No, wrong movie.
All of that being said, Spencer Tracy's change is good and very well rounded.
Yep.
A lot of parent meeting movies, it's just like hate. Oh, he's okay. Oh, he can get married.
Yeah, and what one trope we kind of talked about in our discussion of
Intro episode.
meeting parent movies was the which this doesn't have, is that the Ben Stiller has to go in and do some big grand gesture to prove that he's good enough. If Sidney Poitier doesn't need to do that because he is good enough.
But also, if this was a movie later on,
yeah,
he goes and buys that dumb fucking sculpture from the gallery to prove to Katharine Hepburn that he loves art and loves what the family does, or...
But she doesn't like that.
No.
What that thing with the blue lights that you're so fond of, take that with you.
But in the Ben Stiller version,
yep,
just after that happens, Sidney Poitier comes back to the house having bought that sculpture.
Yes. Yeah.
And then they're like, look what I bought. And this is how much I love the gallery that you own. She's like, well, I fucking hate it. And then smashes it on the ground.
Yeah.
But Sidney Poitier doesn't need to do that. And that's why it's a very well-written character, because he is unimpeachable.
But I think it also then shows that he doesn't... The only reason you think he might not be good enough is because he's black and he doesn't. That's not a problem. So he doesn't need to do anything else to prove that he's good enough for your daughter.
And throughout it, Spencer Tracy's character particularly is around and kind of a bit back and forth of, I'm okay with my daughter being with an African-American. I'm not okay with it because of this. But I'm okay with him, but I'm not okay with my daughter having to struggle because of him. Yes. Like, it's all around it.
Yep.
It's never like, I don't approve of people of colour.
Yeah.
And there's that whole talk of them being liberal things, and Katharine Hepburn does her whole talk about this is how we raised her, to be accepting of people. And we are trying to say, even though we have a person of colour on our staff, we're trying to say that the white people aren't inherently better than the others. She says a whole lot of other colours that I'm not going to say.
But John Lennon will in that song.
Yeah, he was borderline at the time when you could, I reckon.
Okay.
He was also married to one of them. So she says all of that, and so there's that. There's like, it's not a race thing for us. It's a rest of society thing.
Yeah. We're concerned about what your life is going to be like after this, not with you doing this.
Which, to bring it around to a rainbow topic, a lot of coming out, a lot of people's reactions to people coming out is, you're going to have a hard life now. And like, I think of Love, Simon, Jennifer Garner's speech to Simon is, this is going to be fucking hard for you. And she basically says, it breaks my heart that I can't help you with that.
Well, is it also just like, I hope you're ready for a world full of hate, never-ending parade of stupid? Oh, so you met my mom. That was my...
It's not Amanda Bynes.
Oh, so you met my mom. That was Amanda Bynes being Kermit the Frog, actually.
And
Oh, so you met my mom.
What is the line? I hope you're ready for a
whole lot of hate, never-ending parade of stupid or something.
Is the end of it. I hope you're ready for a whole lot of something coming at you from a never-ending parade of stupid. And then Amanda Bynes, oh, so you've met my mom.
Oh, so you met my mom.
There's that too.
I think Kermit might be a good one for me.
That's a theme. And that's
Kermit. Well,
a theme of race and also a theme of queerness. because even, we talked about Happiest Season, and in the end, Mary Steenburgen says to the dad,
Victor
Garber,
who is a gay.
Our daughter has been struggling with this.
Yeah.
And so you have to...
Our terrible, selfish daughter has been struggling with this.
You have to stop being the old white man and making it about you.
Yep.
And talk to your daughter who has been struggling with this. And that is the thing that is Spencer Tracy's thing, is that my daughter's going to have a hard life. My grandchildren are going to face difficulties because of this. It's also relevant now, particularly Sidney Poitier saying, we are not going to be okay until all you old people who think your way is the way die out.
Yeah.
And that is what millennials and Gen Zs are saying about older boomers.
Pretty much.
Once they go, then the next generational change can happen.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to think that Sidney Poitier is saying that, 37 in 1967, so he's would be over 100 now. But he is the boomer that the millennials are saying he wasn't,
Yeah.
he wasn't set in his ways and intolerant, partly because he was such a trailblazer in film as an African-American man. But that age of people who in the 60s were like, you old people need to die so that things can change.
I've got you.
And now the old people that need to die so that there can be change.
It's a circle of life.
Hamanana, Yamanana.
So, Lee, this is
back on topic.
Not a gay movie.
No.
Not a queer movie.
No.
But because we are 2 out of 3 brothers watching movies through a rainbow lens.
I just did a couple of ties to queer themes of acceptance and difficulties in life.
But how gay is this movie?
Not very gay.
You know what the gayest bit is?
The butcher's delivery boy dancing.
What the fuck was that? I was like, because I was sitting there watching this movie with Sidney Poitier, Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn in it about interracial marriage.
Yep.
And I just could, for the life of me, totally forgot when this was set. But when that guy came out dancing out of his van and picked up someone, and then I don't know if she called someone Daddy-O, I was like, 60s.
It's the 60s.
I thank you for reminding me that we are in the 60s.
That scene did have the good moment of the young people. He's just like, hey, you want to get in my van? And she's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And race wasn't an issue for them.
Yeah.
And then she said to Tilly, she's like, I set a reminder for you to cook something or to get the pie out or something. Yeah.
Well, and then she had to make another pie because Joey's a bitch.
Oh, yeah.
Make another pie.
It's a good looking pie.
Get more meat. Make a pie. I don't care. Do what I say. I don't even live here anymore.
I was going to make celery steak and a celery soup and rump steak. No, you're making turtle soup. Turtle soup. She said turtle soup.
Oh, it was turtle soup.
Turtle soup.
Oh.
So she had to get an extra turtle delivered.
Yeah, where's she going to get a turtle at this time of day?
Well, if you can't get the butcher to deliver it, get it in a taxi.
Because that's all that matters. That's the only obstacle in getting a brand new turtle to soup.
Well, I think the other obstacle for dinner, as the priest said, I guess you're the problem, to Sidney Poitier.
He was funny.
Anyway,
I liked that
what's
he
the other-
was then the older character that just didn't give a shit about it.
Yeah.
Was that good kind of...
But it's also a very not Catholic thing to be okay with things like that.
Yeah.
Oh, they're generally not racist.
I'll have a scotch.
They're homophobic.
I'll have a scotch 50-50 with soda water. The same amount of scotch as soda water.
Yeah, because what the water just livens up the flavours of the scotch. It's not a dilution necessarily.
I think he's going to need to get in a taxi too.
Yeah, with the steak, with the turtle.
With the turtle.
What's another gay thing about the movie? Katharine Hepburn?
Katharine Hepburn's... Oh, she's kind of an
Allegedly.
icon. She's not a gay.
Well, there's a lot of talk about it.
Well, just because she wore pants a lot.
Well, I think that's the thing. I kind of did some research into all of that stuff, and she had a relationship with Spencer Tracy, even though Spencer Tracy was married to somebody else.
Yep.
But she also wasn't romantically linked to many people.
No.
She wore pants a lot.
She did.
She was a strong woman who often played strong characters.
Yep.
So people are just like, Les.
But
then also one blog I read was like, either that or just asexual. Like, but also, who cares?
But also, yeah, she can do whatever the fuck she wants. She's Catherine fucking Hepburn.
But also, then one blog was like, can't really comment because she's dead and we can't ask her.
Yeah.
So,
but they are making a movie about how James Dean was gay. Apparently, with Brandon Flynn from The Parenting
is he
in it.
as gay as Robert Irwin, who's now dating Shawn Mendes?
Well, in real life or in AI verse?
That's so bad.
So bad.
I think the gayest thing about this movie is the similarities in themes.
Yep.
And we've talked about this genre of movie as parent meeting. We have watched the queer ones, the parenting happiest season, The Birdcage. We've already watched on Rainbow Popcorn, the camp ones, Aladdin, that we've already watched for Two Drink Cinema.
Yep.
And those gay ones have very similar themes to this racial acceptance theme.
Mm-hmm.
And there is the, well, life's going to be fucking hard for you.
Yeah. I agree.
Thanks for listening to... No?
I was thinking again about the acting in this movie, which is quite good. Famously, these people are quite good at acting.
Famously, she has won 4 Oscars.
Yeah, he's won 2 and he's won 1 as well.
He should have won 2.
Poitier,
he could have won for this.
He probably
if
could
he'd
have
been
won
nominated.
For more. He could have won for In the Heat of the Night and the Defiant ones, but that was in the 50s. They weren't ready yet.
Well, some people aren't ready now.
Yeah. They're not even ready for a Black James Bond.
Warren Beatty wasn't ready. That's why he read out La La Land. That's not an accusation.
That is not an accusation. It's fact. No.
I need a Can I make one of these? Program this as a disclaimer. Allegedly.
You probably should. The acting is good. Like it's an interesting thing. It's a drama.
I love a drama.
Right? But it's not a dramatic drama.
Yes.
I will explain what I mean.
Please.
Because
you looked at me like you wanted me to explain.
It's a dramatic story. It's a drama story. Right? But they do it not dramatically. Like the way that they do it is somewhat lighthearted.
Yep.
And nobody, for most of it, has a big like outbursty acting scene.
12 Angry Men.
For Sidney Poitier. Yes.
It's not a 12 Angry Men yelling and screaming. Tension gradually increases across 2 hours.
Yeah.
2 hours.
But I also want to see this in play form.
Well, I looked it up because I was like, this has got to be based on a play.
No.
It's not. It's an original movie.
Yeah, written directly for the screen.
It's very well acted, and I don't know if they're not there or if they just don't make it onto our radar enough, movies like this.
I think what the difference between movies like this and if they were making this movie now, they would have to be like, we need to write harsher stuff or you need to act more because then it will become Oscar baity. I also,
I just don't know if an audience, I think they go 2 ways. They either take a story like this and they dial it up, as you said, or they dial up the art housiness of it and film it weirdly or put an alternate timeline in it or make it in black and white 4:3, sorry, Bradley Cooper, to try and make it seem like a very serious piece of cinema rather than just making a serious piece of cinema.
Here
you
is
need
a
to
great
do something
story
to it
with great acting done well.
That you need to now, these days, do something to it to make it look like a serious piece of cinema.
Yeah.
which I don't like.
No. You can just make a nice movie.
Well, you can also just make a good movie.
You can just write a good story and get people to act well in it and have a camera do this.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe more than just back and forth, but you know what I mean? You don't need to go, zoo.
Yeah. And you don't need to, Brad,
Not Brad, not your friend Brad again.
4:3 black and white to make it be like, here, look at me act. And it's serious. You know, you can tell it's serious because it's in black and white.
That was like, was it Poor Things? And I'm like, oh, this bit's in black and white. Oh, the rest will be in color because that's like in a different bit. But then other bits were black. I'm like, just pick a color scheme.
It was the same in The Maestro.
Yeah, but that was because that was back in anyway. I don't know. Anyway,
because it also
there
changed.
was no need for it.
Yeah.
That's what we actually are agreeing.
We're actually
so I don't know why
agreeing.
we're arguing with each other about the fact that we agree with it.
It's
Just for something different.
good, and it was of the time when there were just good stories in movies.
Yeah.
And it worked, and it helped that you had that quality of actor in the film.
Yeah. What are you giving it?
I'm
Put you on the
going to give
spot.
it a 3.5 out of 4.
Oh, okay. Yep.
What's that? 4.25 out of 5.
I think I gave
I'm
it
okay
an
with that.
8 out of 10.
Yeah. It
It lost points with that random bit of 60s nonsense. That didn't need to be in there.
I also don't think the ice cream scene needed to be in there.
No, I liked that. The other thing that I liked about it, have I said enough yet? Was that it does like mix the conversations, the different combinations.
Yep.
Well, without making it be like, hey, Dr. John's mum, can we have a chat?
There wasn't all that. Yeah. It was like,
it was just like, who haven't we spoken
I'm
with
going to go.
yet?
I'm going to go to pack, and then it was like, oh, Dad, Tilly wants to talk to you,
Yeah.
and that's a thing that would work well in the play setting.
Yeah. And then I would freeze off stage.
No, you'd leave stage.
Oh. Or I would just be in the stage, still packing, but I'd be in a different room, but I wouldn't have any light on me. And then it would cut to me packing while they're having
And then
their
Catherine
conversation.
Hepburn walks up the 5 stairs, which is meant to represent a whole flight.
Yeah, yeah,
And you'd be there packing.
yeah.
While Sidney Poitier and Spencer Tracy are front of stage,
Which is
lower
the lanai.
on the terrace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Great.
Looking at the view.
yeah.
Catherine Hepburn's like, hey, John's mum, I think you should see the view. Men, you don't need to see the view.
Yes.
I think, Mum, you need to see the view.
Yeah.
She's like, sure.
Is she going to kill me?
Yeah. Am I getting pushed off the balcony right now? Down into the San Francisco Bay?
Yeah.
Quite a view.
I mean,
Right across the bay.
I would want to see that view if I went and visited Catherine Hepburn at her house. If I went to Catherine Hepburn's house and she was like, do you want a little view? I apologize.
Stick to Kermit.
Oh, no.
Follow
She's like,
Catherine Hepburn.
"Here, do you want to see the view? And
Follow Catherine Hepburn anywhere,
I'd go anywhere.
even up the Nile. Is it the Nile? It's not the Nile. It's another river
It's
in
another
Africa.
river. They're on the African Queen. I don't believe it's the Nile.
No, because it's a skinny river, and the Nile is a wide river.
Yes.
Because that's how they moved the pyramids.
Well, the aliens.
Yeah.
They moved them up the Nile.
Yeah, they moved them up the Nile. They landed in the wrong spot and they had to move them up the Nile. None of that is true, especially the aliens.
I think you're in denial.
Ah,
What are we watching next week?
I saw a meme about
We
the
haven't talked
pyramids.
about a meme today.
Right?
Oh, here we go.
And it showed the pyramids.
Yep.
And it showed the Easter Island statues. And
Yes.
it showed the Sphinx, and it showed like Machu Picchu.
Yep.
And it said, just because white people didn't work out how to build it doesn't mean it was aliens.
I mean, true.
Yeah. What are we watching next week? Well, we are watching another parent meeting movie. We are seeing at the cinema A Nice Indian Boy.
We are going to the cinema to watch it. Looking forward to it. I bet it's quite good because it was released about 18 months ago in another country.
There's been lots of good reviews for Nice Indian Boy. I'm very glad we chose Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. I enjoyed this more than I would have enjoyed a rewatch of Ben Stiller's Meet the Parents.
And it has been a while since I forced you to watch an old movie that you hadn't seen before.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe since Beaches.
And then in 2 weeks' time, we're interviewing Cortex,
yes,
host of Pride Movie Night,
yep,
about their favourite films and being a movie buff.
Yep.
We're going to talk about the Pride Short Film Festival that's coming up in August as well. I have another hosting gig coming up, actually.
Oh, really?
I'm going to be MC for the 25th anniversary concert of Burundara Brass.
Oh, that's excitement.
Yeah, that's coming up in October. So if you're into brass bands and want to hear me talk about something other than movies, you can come to the Hawthorne Hotel in October and hear me talk about music.
I just caught up with a friend who works in Burundara.
Oh,
there
good.
You go.
That it?
She won't be there.
Okay.
I believe that's it. I'm not doing any other hosting other than hosting the Thoughts in My Head.
If you'd like Brett to host something, get in touch with us on the socials at 2 out of 3 Brothers.
I'll host a party.
Yeah, let's do a
I'll
party.
host an after party after Pride of Our Footscray. I've done that a few times. Yeah.
We're going to be hosting some Rainbow Popcorn Movie Club social events soon.
We are.
So if you want to make sure you're aware of those, join the Rainbow Popcorn Movie Club Facebook group.
Yep.
Follow us on the socials at 2 out of 3 Brothers. Subscribe to all our channels and you will get all of that information. But next week is A Nice Indian Boy to finish off Meeting the Parent movies.
Yep.
And that is another episode of Rainbow Popcorn. Thank you, Brett.
Thanks, Lee. Now get permanently lost.